Okay, hey, how y'all doing? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? My name is Torrey Manning, better known as Torrey Suxxess. I am a wholesale real estate investor, and today I wanted to do a video for people who are just starting out and trying to learn how to invest in real estate with no or little money and no credit. A little bit about me. I started out about 3 years ago, in 2014, 3 years ago. I started out doing wholesale deals after working with other investors. I'm a subcontractor by trade, paint, tile, drywall, things of that nature. And I just wanted to learn what they were doing and how they were doing it. So I figured out how, and I started researching on how to get into this business with little to no money, and just basically using my time and energy and a little ingenuity after doing research. So to make it easier for the beginners, I'm going to give you just some beginner tips and suggestions, and hopefully you can learn something from this. And let's go ahead and get started. What is wholesaling real estate? Simply put in one statement, wholesaling real estate is actually selling your equitable interest in a property by contractual agreement to a prospective buyer for a fee. That's my definition of wholesaling real estate. What we do is we sell contracts. I sell my equitable interest. I accrue my equitable interest by actually getting that property under contract. Then I sell that contract to a prospective buyer who wants to purchase that property, and he gives me a fee for that paper, for that contract. He then closes on the property with the seller of the property, and he purchases the property to do whatever he's going to do with it. Rehab it and sell it, or rehab it and rent or lease it. So, A, get the property under contract for purchase. B, get the buyer under contract for the purchase contract. And then C, close and get paid. Pretty simple. You are selling contracts. You acquire the contract through a motivated seller, someone who is in need of selling that contract. You sell that contract to a buyer, someone who probably is going to pay cash. But in this business, most buyers don't use their own cash. They use what we call hard money lenders or a private lender. Hard money lenders most times are investors who used to flip houses, but now they just flip their money to other investors who flip houses. But that's a whole nother video. We'll do that later. We'll talk about that later. Let's move on. Now, when I first got started, I saw the opportunity because, like I said earlier, I was working for investors, doing things to their properties, and they eventually sold or rented out that particular property for profit. So I saw an opportunity there, and my wife asked me one evening, what did I really want to do that will make me happy in doing it? Not just repairing properties, but also making something off of it. Making something off of this property that I'm repairing. or making something off of properties, period. So I started doing research. I saw the opportunity, and I was motivated. I was hungry. I was ready to do something. So I didn't have a mentor. I mentored myself. I was self-taught. I got into the business. I knew a little bit about real estate just from listening and paying attention to the people that I was around working for. And but I didn't have a mentor, so I did go through a few bumps and scrapes along the way, because I didn't have anybody to train me or give me advice. So that's why I posted this here, because I would suggest, if you're a beginner, to go ahead and get you a mentor. Find you someone who will train you, someone who will guide you in the right direction. And that way, you'll have enough help and enough assistance to develop your skills in this business and make things easier for you. You won't have any, or you'll only have a few bumps and scrapes instead of a lot. All right, so I suggest you get you a mentor. Now, don't find a mentor who's going to charge you a lot of money and give you little value. Find you someone who gives value. There are lots of mentors out here, especially in real estate investing. A lot of them. So I would suggest you find someone who's credible, who has already done this business and is doing it, and make it happen for yourself. All right, so let's move to the next slide. I know that you are not a fool. All right, I know you ain't a fool. You paid $3,000 for real estate training, but now you have no money for 50 bandit signs. The woman on the left, she's crying because she doesn't know what to do in order to market. Now, in this business, you'll find that, yeah, you do real estate, but you market more than anything. You're a marketer. You need to put signs out. You need to invest in your marketing, online, using your social media, any free way of getting training. Any free way of getting marketing out there to get other people to come to you, sellers, buyers, what have you. All right. Now, the only reason I made that meme is because there are investors who will charge an arm and a leg, and they won't give you much value. They'll give you half of what you need to know, and because they want you to keep coming back to them, and they're going to ask you for more money. Now, the meme on the right says, so I give you 16 grand and you teach me real estate. That's what most of us feel like. That's how I felt my first time going to a seminar. You see these seminars on infomercials saying they're coming to your town. You hear the radio commercials saying they're coming to your town. Come to this seminar and we'll teach you how to flip houses. They're only going to teach you how to flip contracts. They'll teach you how to wholesale. They're not going to teach you how to flip houses like you see on HGTV using contractors and stuff like that. No, they're not going to teach you that. That takes a lot more effort, and that takes you actually knowing how to deal with contractors, and knowing numbers and how to deal with material costs and a whole lot. They're not teaching you that. They're teaching you how to wholesale. They just call it house flipping, but you're contract flipping. So me and you, we're the little boy. The woman on the left is a big conglomerate company that says, I'm coming to your town. They pull you in on a seminar. They ask you at the end of the seminar, after getting you geeked up and amped up, yeah, you ready to do this Then they ask at the end of the seminar to give them $5,000. You can use your credit card. You got it on your credit card. Just give me $5,000. We'll give you this system. It's unbeatable, and you will be profitable. No, don't even waste your time. Find you a mentor, someone who can be one-on-one with you, someone who will answer the phone, answer a text, answer any questions you have, and show you the ropes. Maybe take you out a few times to properties, and maybe you can listen in on the phone with them, talking to a seller or a buyer, stuff like that. Don't waste your time with the big conglomerates. They'll actually pull you in, and you'll have nothing to show for it. I've had people call me that have watched my periscopes, and they'll say, I remember a guy called me from Arizona. He said he paid $15,000, and he learned not even half of what I was teaching on the periscope for free. So, just giving you that warning. Now, I'll give you another warning in this business. You have to be thick-skinned. Like a duck lets water roll off of his back naturally. That's how you need to be. Some deals won't close. Sometimes sellers will lie to you about repairs. Sometimes buyer will lie to you and say they have the funds, but really they already have 2 hard money loans out, and they don't have the fund. The hard money lender is not going to give them any more money at the moment, and you don't want to tie up contracts for no reason. So just know that things aren't always going to happen, but this business is very lucrative. Real estate makes just about almost, maybe 70% of the millionaires in the world, they invest in real estate before they invest in anything else, before they invest in tech or any idea that they have to sell in a store. They invest in real estate in order to get the funding for that. And a lot of people stay in real estate. They continue selling real estate. It's not going to stop. People buy and sell real estate every day. So you can make it happen for yourself. You just have to actually learn everything you need to know. Then take action on it. Don't sit around. Communicate with the different people that are in this business and build relationships, and you'll be successful. All right, let's move on. Your basic stepping stones. Gain a buyer's list through marketing. Now, marketing, like I said, that's your number one key. A buyer's list. Okay, let me explain this. Now, some people will tell you, just go get a deal, get a property under contract, and guess what? Buyers will just come to you. That works sometimes. Yeah, it does. But if you already have buyers, you know what they want, then you know what to shop for, right? So I would suggest, and that's just me, get you a buyer's list, find out what they want, get each buyer's criteria. That will narrow down what you're searching, marketing, and basically working for. Now, you have many people out here say that you need 100 buyers, 1,000 buyers. Some people say they have like 20, 30,000 buyers. Okay, whatever. Usually you're not going to work with but a few, maybe a handful of buyers, 3 to 5 buyers. So I would just suggest that you start right there. Market for buyers. You can market online. You can use Craigslist. You can use signs that you just write out with a marker. Put them out on the side of the highway. But we'll talk about that later. Then what you want to do once you have buyers is to market for sellers within your buyers' parameters. Find properties that fit what your buyers want And guess what? If the buyer wants that, more than likely he's going to buy it from you. He's going to buy that contract. Once you're in contact with sellers, make offers that make sense, and you'll learn how to make offers in another video. Get the property under contract so you're able to assign that contract to a buyer. Assigning a contract is key. That's a term you need to write down. An assignment contract is what you'll give a buyer so that he can get the contract that you have with your seller. That's how you get paid. All right. I mentioned here also that you can have a corporate entity to close deals by assignment. You don't have to have a corporate entity. I just suggest you go ahead and get your LLC, pay the $7,500, whatever it costs, wherever you're from, and make it happen. But we'll talk about that part on another video. All right, assignments. Usually assignment fees are $2,500 to $7,000. Now, that's good. Let's just say you did one of those a month at $2,500. Would that not supplement your income? $2,500 added on to what you already make at your job. You know, if you have a regular 9 to 5, that would definitely supplement your income and probably change your life, right? Right. If you made $7,000 per deal, one deal a month, would that not supplement your income? $7,000 in 10 months, that's $70,000, right? So I think that this business is worth it. Now, in some instances, some wholesalers negotiate higher assignment fees, $10,000 to $20,000. You know, so it's just lucrative like that. A lot of wholesalers actually make more money than some realtors do, believe it or not. Some deals, wholesalers make up to $65,000, $100,000. You know, those are high-end properties, but they'll make it happen, you know. And usually those type wholesalers stay in the business. Now, you have other investors who do stuff, who make deals. If they're flipping houses, they also wholesale because they still have to pay their hard money lenders every month, interest payments, things of that nature. So they still have money coming in. Wholesaling. Yeah. Now, let's keep going. There are a couple other ways for you to fit on a HUD-1 statement at closing. A HUD-1 statement is the closing statement that the attorney or closing title agent draws up at any closing. Closing means when you go to the table, the buyer and the seller swap deeds and keys for cash. The deed and the keys for cash. Joint venture agreement, a marketing agreement, or a co-wholesale agreement. Those are other ways to get on the HUD with your name, to close in your name. Now, you can close in your name with an assignment as well, but I just suggest doing that with an LLC. But having a joint venture agreement with another wholesaler or with the buyer or with a realtor or whoever is doing the deal with you, having a marketing agreement with your buyer, so the buyer can actually have his contract direct with the seller himself. That also works. Having a co-wholesale agreement with another wholesaler who has a property under contract, but he can't find a buyer, but you have a buyer, and you bring the buyer to the table, and you guys split the fee. All right, so if you want to get all your docs to the closing attorney or title agent, I would do so. That's your best bet. Make sure you get all your documentation into the closing attorney. Even if the buyer says, well, I'm going to send in my deposit and all of the contracts, I'm going to send it in to my closing attorney or my title agent. In some states, you have a closing attorney. In some states, you have title agencies where a title agent will close the property. Close the deal. And in some states, you have both. In my particular case, the closing attorney, we have closing attorneys, and I choose and I prefer to use closing attorneys that are investor friendly. You'll hear that along the way as well. Find an investor friendly attorney, someone who doesn't just close deals with realtors and first time family members or a first time home buyer. All right. So when the title is pulled and the title is clear of liens, taxes, or any other obstacles, the buyer, he'll wire his money in for the purchase into escrow. An escrow account is basically a bank account that's held by that attorney or title agent. And then he'll sign his documents to receive the deed. He'll sign the deed. And the seller will get his money, and any other people involved, they'll get the check cut from escrow. Meaning you'll get a check cut. If there's a realtor involved, the realtor will get a check cut. Whoever's involved in the deal that made it happen, they'll get a check cut. I suggest, this is another suggestion, try to find more deals direct to seller. Get your own deals. Go out there and make it happen. Always be closing. ABC. Always be closing. Don't sit around and wait on deals from other wholesalers. Save that co-wholesaling stuff for when it's slow, when you don't have your marketing in place or something like that. When you've run out of bandit signs, you ordered 200 and you already put them out for the month and you don't have any, and you just closed a couple deals but you don't have anything under contract right now. Yeah, you can co-wholesale, bring a buyer to the table if another wholesaler has a deal, and make you a half of that fee. But if you're always trying to get your own deals, guess what? You'll make more money that way. You won't be a part of what they call a daisy chain. And you can look that up. That means that there are too many wholesalers connected to a deal and only one of them has the contract, but all of these people are marketing the same deal at higher prices. Yeah, you don't want to be a part of that. You want your own. So let's keep moving. Now, this is a HUD-1 settlement statement. It's just a piece of a HUD-1 settlement statement. This is actually the part where I wanted to show the settlement that I was involved in. This is a property, an older property that we wholesaled, I think in 2015. Friend of mine, name is Antonio Smith. He actually brought the deal to the table. He showed me the house, but he didn't have it under contract. So I paid him what's called a bird dog fee, which is $1,000. I got the property under contract. I worked out a deal with the seller. I found a buyer. I was paid $5,000, but since Antonio and I had a marketing agreement, like I mentioned earlier, a marketing agreement, I paid him a marketing agreement fee, which was $1,000, and I kept $4,000 for myself, for my company, as the assignment fee. You want to continue seeing HUD-1s in your email. Now, you don't always have to see the house either. You don't always have to see the property. whether it's a house, whether it's a commercial deal, an office space, apartments, a multi-unit, duplex, whatever it is, you don't always have to see it. There are ways that you can get other people to look at your properties, and you still go out there looking for sellers, finding deals, finding the deals, letting someone else close the deal, and they'll cut you a check, mail you a check, or wire your money into your account. Wouldn't it be nice to just wake up one morning and you've closed 2 deals without even going to the place? They just wired money from each deal into your account. Man. All right. The thing is that you are the missing piece to make that happen. You're the middleman. You're making it happen for these buyers. You're making it happen for these sellers. The sellers want to get rid of their distressed property, or maybe they're an older couple and they want to get rid of their house so they can move to a retirement place, sort of like Florida. Maybe they want to move to Florida. And you're helping the buyers, because most landlords and rehabbers, they aren't out here looking for deals and trying to negotiate with sellers. They just depend on wholesalers. They can just get a deal from a wholesaler. Why not? That makes it easier for them. They have other worries and issues, like making sure the contractors are doing their job, making sure material is at the house so the contractors can do their jobs. Things like that. Become the center of attention. You want to create the deal from hunting. You hunting down deals. You're marketing, like I said. Creating a dialogue with your sellers. And then you cure the seller's woes by finding a buyer. Now, some people would say that, don't I need a real estate license to do that? No. You don't need to be a real estate agent, a realtor. You don't need to be a real estate broker. No, you don't. This has been going on for a long time. It didn't just start. This information isn't new. There have been wholesalers for a long time since real estate has been able to be sold. Okay? Now remember, any true buyer is out for profit with low repair costs and time. So if you just do your due diligence, and I put those words in red so that you will know that that is a key term. Due diligence. You will hear that a lot, especially if you're just starting out. Now, if you're not starting out and you're just trying to get a refresher, then of course you've already heard that. Do your due diligence. That means run your numbers. Find out what's wrong with the property, what kind of repairs need to be done, what's the ARV, what are the comps in the area. All these are terms that you will learn as you go. Okay? Alright, so there'll be no more stress about not only closing, but closing fast. So close the deal, run a checklist, communicate with all parties involved. Make sure your documents are in to the closing attorney and title agents on time. Make sure your buyer's earnest money deposit is deposited in the escrow on time. Call your buyer, make sure that that's done, so the seller won't have any worries. Now, you created a deal and cured the stress, so stay on your toes and close. Make sure that you communicate with everyone. Build relationships. Build relationships. It's a relationship business. Everybody gets paid. So if the deal closes, everybody walks away happy. And why not work with that person again? Whether it's you working with the same attorney again, or whether you're working with a realtor, or whether you're working with another wholesaler, whether you're working with a flipper, whether you're working with a landlord who buys and holds. Get that under contract, make that deal close, and stay on your toes. And do it again. Rinse and repeat. Now, I suggest that sometimes you have a second buyer in the background just in case a deal falls through. It's many different reasons for deals to fall through. It could be a title issue. It could be the buyer had a partner who backed out and he's stuck by himself. It could be the hard money lender or private lender didn't want to lend the money to that buyer at that particular time because the buyer didn't have some documentation in or didn't get the house inspected. It's just many different reasons for a deal to fall through. So if it does, guess what? Have a second buyer in the back. Tell him, if this deal doesn't go through, it's your house. Make it happen. Now, we talked about buyers, and we're going to talk about buyers because they pay everybody. They pay the attorney, they pay you, they pay a realtor. If there's a realtor involved, they pay whoever before they get paid. They get paid after they fix the house. They pay the contractor, they pay the inspectors, they pay an appraiser, they pay all of these people, and they only get paid once they resell the house. Crazy, right? But when they do resell the house, they make a pretty penny. So I would say that my number one mistake when I got started was thinking that deals will bring the buyers. And it does. That does happen. All right? It does happen. Not all the time, though. Some buyers are picky. Most buyers are picky. They want certain things. They don't want just anything. So be targeted. Be sniper focused. Don't just be sawed off shotgun focused. Spraying everywhere. Just grab a deal here, grab a deal there, and send it to your buyers and think that, one of them might bite. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Be laser focused. Build your buyers list first. You can do both at the same time. You can market for sellers and buyers at the same time. You got people out here who will tell you just get a deal and do it that way. Blah blah blah. But no, I wouldn't do that. I would suggest that you find buyers and market for sellers. And once you get a property under contract, you have buyers that are talking to you. That are emailing you. So advertising for buyers is like fishing. Bait them, hook them, and they'll bite because they're hungry. Market for your buyers in your market areas with incomplete bandit signs and creative online ads. Incomplete bandit signs. Let me explain. Get a marker, poster board, poster sign that says, I have a 3-2 for sale, 3-bed, 2-bath, asking $100K. ARV $250. $250K. Then put your phone number on it. That's incomplete. They don't know what the repairs are. They don't know where the house is. So they're going to call you anyway, right? Yeah. That's an incomplete bandit sign. They may or may not want to work with you, but they will call you. And that's what you want. Start building rapport and building relationships. So, your buyers are in the business to make a profit. They pay everybody, like I said. So run your numbers. I'm not going to go through all of this slide. So I would say just read this, rewind it if you got to. 65% is a good number. Some people do 70%. 65% is the basic number that most investors look at. If the house is worth $100,000, when they valued at $100,000 from a seller, offer them $65,000. Basic. So just look at this slide and check these numbers out. I'm gonna keep moving. Buyers. Before and after. The house on the left, the buyer bought it for $200K. The house on the right, the buyer sold the same house for $389,000. Now, that's $189,000 difference. Now, he did add posts. He extended the stairwell in the front, changed the door, brand new windows, the paint job, the shrubbery. If you can look at it, some of the shrubbery from the left is missing. It's actually missing and isn't there anymore on the right. Why did he do that? Because there's a window at the bottom, and when whoever is in the basement looks out the window, they probably want some light coming through that window, sunlight. Those bushes were blocking that window. So let's just say, for instance, he spent $89,000 of the $389 on that property. So that means he paid $200 plus $89. That would be $289. That means he made $100,000 off that house. Even if he paid $100,000 to fix that house, he made $89,000 off that house. That's a good problem to have, right? Right. Now, most buyers, like I said, they're in this business for profit. They need to go ahead and get to work. They need to repair for profit so they can close fast. That's why they close fast, because they want to go ahead and get their contractors working. The property on the right is a house that I actually painted. I did the faux paint on the ceiling. I did the faux paint throughout the house. And I actually hung that chandelier. That was probably about a good 20 feet up in the air. So probably like a $600,000 house. The house on the left, the two pictures on the opposite ends is the same house. Then the one in the middle was a condo that I painted, and I did that backsplash for them. So I know how it feels to be in the buyer's shoes. You want to go ahead and get the work done and get out of there, So put yourself in the buyer's shoes, because they pay everybody. Try not to insult your buyers. Intelligence, thinking that you know everything. Let them talk. Same way with sellers. Definitely let the sellers talk. You want them to tell you everything that you need to know about a property, right? So that's pretty much it on the beginner tips. I ask that you join my Facebook group if you are a beginner. REI Beginners Avenue. Now, if you're not a beginner and you're watching this and you are already wholesale properties, I have another Facebook group. It's called REI Wholesale Investing. Have over 3,000 members. People post their deals. I even let lenders post their terms in case you want to flip a house. So you can join either group. But the REI Beginners Avenue is a new group. I have content, and I'll continue to put content in that group so that people can actually talk to each other about deals, about learning how to get deals, structure deals, do contracts, and things of that nature. I also have, under the file section, some contracts and things that I've used, documents that I've used as well. All right, so that's it for me. This is Torrey Suxxess. I do answer My phone, 404-981-5254. Get you a mentor. I do mentor, I do coach one-on-one, but I do have content. Like I said, I'm actually building a course. There will be a course coming soon, and whoever joins this group, more than likely I will have a entry of a certain number of people that I'll pick who want to join, who want to get in on the course, and I'll let them get in on the course either at a discount or for free. Then once we go through the course, it's going to jump up. The price is going to jump up. So your starting line, your starting point right now, since you've learned what to do, you can rewind this video and play it back again, write and take notes. But your starting line is to join that Facebook group and get some of the content and watch me out in the field and watch me actually teaching on some of those videos. But most of my videos, I'm out in the field. I'm actually doing periscopes out in the field at houses and talking to people and building relationships. All right, that's it for me. Like I said, God bless, and I hope you learned enough to get yourself started in a minute.